And for more on this now, I'm joined live in Canberra by One Nation leader Pauline Hanson. Pauline, thank you very much for your time. It's been a very busy 24 hours for you. What is your response to accusations from both Labor and Coalition colleagues that you've vilified and mocked Muslim Australians?
Not at all, Shari. My private member's bill that I tried to introduce on the floor of Parliament was about the Criminal Code amendment to ban the burqa and full face coverings. And that was to do with national security. It's just about treating everyone fair and equally. And, it's also about the oppression of women, that I feel that people in Australia, women in Australia, the way they've been treated, have to cover up against their will. And I believe that some of them are against their will because the male counterparts tell them they must cover up. And you've shown footage of this as what's happening around the rest of the world. Also, I believe that, 24 countries around the world, including Islamic countries, have actually banned the burqa because they want women's rights to give them back their rights and also for assimilation. And we find that people, who can't communicate, you can't see who they are under that burqa. I think that's the issue with it. A lot of people have actually contacted me on my Facebook page and said, well, I have to remove my helmet if I go into a bank. Why are they treated totally different to anyone else? Shari, at the end of the day, this is Australia. It is not the Australian culture or way of life. I just want equality for all Australians. And I don't want to see the suppression or oppression of women in this country. And when you hear the people on the floor of Parliament, these so-called representatives of the Australian people, who actually did not even allow me to introduce my bill in the first place and just cut it off straight away without debating the issue. So they shut down the democracy and freedom of speech in our Parliament, the heart of our democracy.
Yeah, it is extraordinary that a full face covering that's banned in between 16 and 24 countries, depending on how you define it. You couldn't even have a debate. You couldn't even have free speech about it in the Senate. I'll also just note that you did say there that some of the women who wear the burqa are oppressed, but not all. You said that yourself, because of course some women will say they choose to wear it. But Pauline, just again, What do you say to the criticism that you wearing a religious garment like the burqa could offend Muslim Australians?
Let me make it quite clear, and Imam clerics have actually said the burqa is not a religious requirement. They wear it because they choose to, or they are forced to wear it. Let's come back to what our culture is and what our beliefs are. If they're going to be bringing in digital ID or, facial recognition, how are we going to treat one Australian compared to another? Many Australians out there are really angry about this because they say, we have to show who we are. What about when you drive in a car or police pull them up? And we've seen instances here that, they can't identify who the driver is, or they call racism because they're not removing their burqa. There was a case in the courts in December of 2016, and the judge asked the female to remove the burqa and giving evidence, which she refused to. The judge said, well, OK, well then we'll shut down the courts, or you can do it in the next room. Still refused to do it. So the judge could not take her evidence. So, it's going to affect the court system as well, if you want to, get people to give evidence. So I see a real problem, Shari. What I'm doing is that let's hit it on the head now. Let's deal with the problem before it gets out of control and we can't do anything about it. And we've seen this happen in other countries around the world.
In hindsight, though, do you think you could have raised your legitimate concerns in a way, about the burqa and how it does oppress some women in a way that didn't come across as a headline-grabbing stunt?
No, Shari, I couldn't, because they were never going to give me the opportunity to raise it on the floor of Parliament. If we're going to deal with this, it has to be done in legislation on the floor of Parliament. They had no compuncture to actually allow me to do that. As soon as I got the first word out to introduce my bill to Parliament, they just called out no. And that's it, one voice. It was actually two. Tammy Tyrrell from Tasmania, she was one who called out no, and also it was one of the Greens. So I wasn't going to be allowed. What am I supposed to do? And I thought to myself, OK, you won't allow the banning of the burqa, well then fine, you don't mind my wearing it on the floor of Parliament. They couldn't have it each way. So they didn't want to ban the burqa, but then they didn't want me wearing it either. So, you know, the hypocrisy of the whole lot, that's what it's about. Sheer hypocrisy. Everything I do, this is not the first time. Do you know it's really unprecedented of stopping a Member of Parliament introducing their private senator's bill? And this is not the first time, this is the second time. Even yesterday, they allowed everyone to have their say. And then when I stood up to have my say, I was completely ignored by the President. Even my other members of Parliament wanted to say something, would not give them the call. Then it actually called for a division. They called out no to it. She completely ignored that and gave it to the yes vote.
And you've now written to the President of the Senate to complain about how you were treated. What are your complaints to the President of the Senate in the letter that your Chief Whip has sent?
Well, the procedure wasn't adhered to. So I was treated totally different to what happened. Now, during that time when I walked in the burqa, with the burqa on, the bells were ringing. A division was actually happening. So after I walked in, the doors were locked. They said doors locked. Well, isn't it funny? During that period of time before the division was counted, that Penny Wong and Katie Gallagher walked in the Parliament, so they unlocked the doors. The whole procedure was just an absolute joke. And, you know, one set of rules for them, another set of rules for me. Yes, we have our differences of opinion, but Shari, I've never attacked a person's faith, right? Do I agree with the Islamic culture and ideology? Most of the time, no, I don't. But a person's faith that's their belief. And as I have, you know, fought for the Jewish people, for their safety and issues or, you know, other things that have happened in our country, I'll stand up and support anyone based on what's right. But to say that I disregard the Parliament, I have the utmost respect for the Parliament. I'm so privileged and honoured to be a Member of Parliament that very few people have that opportunity. But I don't disrespect the men and women that have fought and died for our country and that democracy and what that chamber represents. And they denied me that right. The right of the Australian people to have a voice. And if I raise these issues, then it's on behalf. But let me have that debate and then put it to the vote and let the people see the outcome of that vote. Don't deny me the right.
Well, not just denied you the right, you've now been banned for a full week. We just saw there Penny Wong accuse you of degrading the Senate. Mehreen Faruqi has accused you of racism. But what do you think about the fact that other senators have not faced the same penalties when they've worn or carried props like a salmon and worn keffiyehs into the Senate?
Shari, you're totally right in what you have said there. For the past 9 years, I've been treated totally different to everyone else because my politics, they don't like my politics. You know, the Australian people keep voting me back in. And that's what I said today. My comments were for the Australian people, to stand up and fight for them on certain issues that's important to them. I'm not going to be answerable to those members of Parliament in there that are so disrespectful themselves to understand my position as a Member of Parliament to get up and represent my constituency. They've disregarded that and the people of Australia. So I will keep doing my job. I will keep fighting against them. I'm not going to go away. They can, you know, censure me. I don't care. You know who I care about? The people out there. And if they don't want me, fine, don't vote for me in the next election. But if they do, I'll continue fighting for them. I will continue standing up for these important issues. And it's not the only issue, Shari. As people have said, no, it's not. It's about doing with, you know, the climate change, with immigration, with the cost of living, all these things. I've got policies for that. I'm very passionate about that, and family law. These are important issues to me, the farming sector, the mining sector, everything like this. So don't think that I've just walked away from that. I'm not. I'm across so much that I want to do for the Australian people. I just ask them for their voter confidence to give me that opportunity.
Just before you go, I want to ask you about Barnaby Joyce. After this whole burqa fiasco in the Senate, you were then cooking him a Wagyu steak on a sandwich press. Now, this has gone viral today. And I even was reading this column by Lizzie Merriman in The Australian, and she's worried you could have given him food poisoning. I've consulted other chefs who say it is actually fine to cook a Wagyu on a sandwich press. I mean, Pauline, you used to have a fish and chip shop, so are you worried you could have given him food poisoning? Is the sandwich press hot enough
what a load of rubbish. course it is. What a load of rubbish that is. So honestly, these people go on about absolutely nothing. When I've got a kitchen that's 1.5 metres by 1 metre, you actually have to improvise. And the fact is, they said it was a 5-star meal. So I had everything there for them. The steak was beautifully cooked, and I'd want to say it's great 2GR. So if you want to go out and buy it, I fully support it. Barnaby loved the meal. No one's been sick today. Everything's good. My God, I've run a business for 10 years dealing with food, so I don't listen to these.
Did he help you with the
people
dishes?
having a go at me.
Did he
Wouldn't
help
have
you
a clue.
clear up the dishes, Pauline?
No, I chased them out. I thought, no, I'll get this done. But no, it's good.
Seriously,
actually, my daughter's
though,
there and gave me a hand with the dishes.
Oh, good.
So
Seriously,
no,
though,
it's all good.
Did
Don't
Barnaby
worry, I've
Joyce...
had other ones. I've had Josh Frydenberg in my office for dinner. He was amazed how I cooked it. He said, how did you cook it? He said, I'm going to tell my wife this. So yes, I've had for the people.
Seriously though, we've really got to go, but did Barnaby tell you last night whether he would be joining One Nation this week?
You know what, Shari, you're not getting an exclusive on this one, and you're going to have to wait. It has to come from Barnaby, what he's doing. I think I wooed him and dined him beautifully last night. So anyway, we're going to see what happens in the next, hopefully we'll see what happens by the end of the week. So
you're expecting him to say yes. You're expecting him...
crossed. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope the steak and the dinner and the mulberry pie did it.
On the sandwich press, and he said it was a 5-star meal. He said it was a 5-star meal, so maybe you did wine and dine him well, and it looked very friendly. His hand was on yours, very chummy. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Pauline.
a good mate.
All right.
I love him. All
soon
right,
to
thanks,
be
Shari.
in your party, it sounds like. Pauline Hanson, thank you so much for your time.